Good morning. It's a lovely morning, as a matter of fact, and made all the more lovely by the fact that we are here today. Welcome to the Unity Spiritual Center, Georgetown. We are a positive path for spiritual living, and we are very grateful and thankful that you have joined us this morning for this time that we spend together in prayer and in meditation and in laughing and in learning and in singing and all the wonderful things that we come to do to get into a sacred, what we call a sacred space, that energy of love and harmony and unity that exists within our greater selves, sometimes not within our lesser selves, but it's there and certainly here on Sunday mornings. So we are a path that draws from all different kinds of wisdom, but in general, and especially in the next few weeks, we're going to really focus on the Christian model, because today marks the first day of the Advent season. And I want to talk about Advent today and the unity view of Advent, which is different from the traditional. It's the same and it's different. We'll talk about that later. But it's an interesting view of it all. So on top of that, we've envisioned a spiritually transformed world, and I think that's what we're all trying to do here. We're trying to send out energy to change the consciousness of this planet from that old warrior mentality that has held the planet for so long, and it's time to release it all, and that's what we come here to do to help with that. We don't have any dogma, we don't have any creed, but we do have 5 principles that guide our philosophy. And fundamentally, what makes Unity different is that we believe in oneness, and we teach oneness, not separation. And in our practices, we do spiritual practices, and we'll do some today. So anyway, once again, I'd like to welcome you here to Unity Spiritual Center, Georgetown, a spiritual breath of fresh air. And I missed being here last week, by the way, but I did watch it on TV, on the YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel. And I was telling Liz that it really looked nice. The whole production, everything. Xander, Maria, everybody, Dana, everybody, just wonderful stuff. So everybody who participated, great stuff. Liz, our board president.
Thank you. Good morning. We did have a good time last week, and we missed you. Oh, a lot. We missed you a lot. If you're here for the first time, we would like to extend a special welcome. And if you're comfortable, please raise your hand or stand so we can say hi and give you a welcome packet. Anybody here for the first time?
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. Olivia, are you passing out welcome packets? Can you give that gentleman a welcome packet? Come on, girl. You're sure? Well, we'd like you to, then just give him the form off the front so you can sign up for our newsletter. Okay, thank you. Thank you. We're glad you're here, and we hope you feel welcome and choose to make Unity Spiritual Center Georgetown your new home. A few announcements. I'll get through them real quickly. Let's Get Metaphysical Study Group meets on Wednesdays at 9:30 with Reverend Tommy at Legacy Park across the street. A new location for the winter, maybe in the offing, and he will share topics with you. Yes, Kaylin. Trevor, I'm sorry, Trevor. Hi, Trevor. You're right. I didn't get your name. And yes, we do want you to come back. And you're sitting next to because you're, what? You're late. We'll miss you. We love you. Okay. Anyway, check with Reverend Tommy about getting on the email list for the Let's Get Metaphysical, because the topics change and the location may be changing. So get in touch with him for that. Therese Finn is going to be holding a prayer chaplain orientation meeting next Sunday, December 4th, immediately following the service in the Mesquite Room. So if you are interested in the opportunity to become a prayer chaplain, please plan on attending this short introduction.
The Mesquite Room is right here.
Yeah, it's right next. right next door, where the kids meet. And then Mary Magdalene, Mystery and Memory, a 2-session study of the mystery and memory of Miriam of Magdala will be held by Ann Kennedy on December 13th and 14th from 2 to 4. The class is now full, but there is a wait list, so check with Ann if you'd like to be added in case somebody can't make it. Join us for the Austin Trail of Lights at Zilker Park on December 16th. You can purchase your Zip Pass or general admission tickets online at austintrailoflights.org. The group is going via the Zip Pass. What?
Just wanted to let you know the waitlist link is on our website for the Mary Magdalene class, and it will be posted to Facebook later today if you need to get to that for the waitlist on Bruce.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Okay, for those of you online that didn't hear that, there's a Mary Magdalene wait list on the website and on, what did you say, on Breeze. And on Breeze. So the group is going via Zip Pass for all of the amenities at Zilker Park. Carpooling and assistance will be available. Children under 5 are free with a paying adult. Our next potluck will be on Saturday, December 17th at 4 p.m. and will be hosted by Therese Finn. The theme is anything but turkey and green bean casserole. Therese, put me on the list, Therese, I'll be there. Our Christmas Eve service will be held on Saturday, December 4th at 10:30 a.m. This will be in lieu of a Sunday service on Christmas Day. We still need a few volunteers for special readings at the service, and we need a volunteer greeter for that day. Just a quick show of hands, how many of you plan on attending the Christmas Eve service? How many will be here? Okay, that's a good number. Okay, good. We'll see you then. To volunteer or sign up for any of these events, please see your newsletter, go to our website at unitygeorgetown.org, look for sign-up sheet on the welcome table, or fill out a volunteer interest form, and we'll make sure you get on the right list. If you are already a volunteer and will not be available to serve on any Sunday, please fill out a blackout date form so that Maria doesn't put you on the rotation schedule. These can also be found on the welcome table. Thank you. And a quick reminder, if you are not receiving the newsletter and you signed up with a Yahoo email account, please provide us with a Gmail account. Yahoo does seem to have some issues. And I know I talked to a couple of you last week, and I hope that rectified the situation. So now, for our opening song, unless you got some, you want to do those?
Yes,
okay,
and I have
you
to
can
my-
do that.
My laughter thing.
You do, that's right, you do that, yeah. Oh, okay, we'll talk later. Do that, okay, we'll talk later.
By the way, this is the Advent booklet for this year from Unity. It's got a bunch of really great stuff. Be sure and pick one up on the way out today. So we would like to begin, as we usually do on Sundays, with what we call laughter is the best medicine, because it's just a good way to just get into it, that feeling of joy. And so a couple of weeks ago, I did a joke about a husband and wife having a difference of opinion, let's call it. And the point of the joke was like, don't get into these mental things with your wife, boys, because we're not equipped for it. So this one is kind of one of those things. See, there was a husband and a wife who had a little argument, and they were giving each other the silent treatment. And as they were driving down this country road for several miles, not a word was spoken by either one of them. And then they passed a barnyard of goats, pigs, and mules. The husband, thinking he's the wise guy, says, "Are they relatives of yours?" And she said, "Oh, yeah, in-laws." Let's rise and begin our service.
I am a light, I am a light in this world, in this world. I am a light, I am a light in this world, in this world. This is the place, this is the time. Let it shine, let it shine. I see the joy. I see the joy in this world. This world. I see the joy. I see the joy in this world. In this world. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. I'm living love every day.
Love every day.
I'm living love every day.
Living love every day.
Spreading peace along the way.
Sharing peace along the way.
Spreading peace along the way.
Sharing peace along the way.
Right time, right place. Living love every day. We are the light. We are the light in this world. This world are the light. We are the light in this world. In this world. This is the place. This is the time. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
I invite you to enter this Advent season with the hope, faith, and wonder of a child. Fill your heart and mind with excitement as you consider the spiritual gifts that are yours for the asking. Establish your faith in the expectancy of good being poured out upon you. Consider all the ways you might radiate these good gifts out into the world. Make room in your life for the rebirth of Christ within you, and rest assured, beloved one, that you have truly received the most prized gift of all. Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not stop them, for it is to such as these that the kingdom of heaven belongs." Matthew chapter 19, page 14, verse 14. On this day of Advent, I affirm the highest and best for all humanity with the hope and faith of a child.
Okay, here we go.
In me today, I feel love, love in me today. I feel love in me, love in here today. I feel peace, peace in me today. I feel peace, peace in here today. I feel peace in me, peace in here today. I feel joy, joy in me today. I feel joy, joy in here today. I feel joy in me, joy in here today. I feel love, love in here today. I feel love, love in here today. I feel love in me, love in here today.
like. And now, if you will join me in our prayer of intention. Living Spirit opens our minds, opens our hearts, touches us all deeply with love, and sends us out as agents. Agents of love, agents of peace, agents of justice. Amen. And so now we're going to send those beautiful children that we have into their Sunday school, and they will be back with us in just a little while. You guys ought to try it sometime. It's a real joy to be in there and be a kid again. And now let's do our unity statement of being and our mission and vision statements. Please join me in affirming our statement of being. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent. And now our vision and mission statements. Centered in God, we co-create a world of love, peace, and abundance. We are a thriving spiritual community, inspiring and empowering individual and global transformation as exemplified by the life and teachings of Jesus.
Today's two words are hope and faith. As Advent season begins, I say no to pessimistic or hopeless notions that may have crept into my thinking, dimming my hope and weighing on my mind and heart. Today, I say yes to goodness and positivity. I feel a sense of renewed hope dawning within me, a promise that something absolutely wonderful is on its way. In these moments, I feel my faith reborn. I reaffirm my belief that no earthly condition, no worldly circumstance is greater than spirit. This is where I place my faith, in the power, presence, love, and grace of God. As I call upon these divine attributes within myself, I perceive them more readily in others. I grow in faith that together we have the power to create the world of our highest imaginings. The scripture for today is Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you in all joy and believings, so that you may abound in the hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Today's affirmation is, hope dawns within me and leads me to deepen in faith. Would you please repeat after me these two affirmations? Repeat twice the affirmation. Hope dawns within me and leads me to deepen in faith. Hope dawns within me and leads me to deepen in faith.
I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I got a new day down in my soul. I got a new day down in my soul. I got a new day down in my soul. and the whole wide world is my home. I love the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul. And I love the silence down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home.
And now it's time for our community prayer. So as relax into this prayer time, we hold all those around the world in love and light. We especially send prayers to those who are in difficult situations. We send prayers of joy to those who are realizing blessings in their life. And at this time, if there is anyone or any situation that you wish to be placed in this circle of love and prayer, please either say the name out loud or silently. Our Father, Mother God has heard your prayers even before they are spoken. And now let's close our time of prayer today by singing an ancient prayer, a prayer handed down through the ages that affirms God's realm manifest in earth as it is in heaven. Our Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever.
Our spiritual practice today is on peace. From Psalms 122:8. I will say, peace be within you. What a better time to ponder peace than during the busy weeks of Advent, when we are consumed with shopping, making plans for Christmas gatherings, attending parties, addressing Christmas cards to friends and family, and putting up the Christmas tree and decorations. It feels like peace is far away from our hearts. However, each time we feel distressed, act unlovingly, or succumb to anxious worrying, we can refocus our inner self. Peace of mind and heart means trusting that God is with us and that this gift is all we really need for our happiness. As we enter into meditation, allow your body to relax. Place 2 fingers in your heart area. Allow Mother Earth to support and ground you. Take a deep breath through the soles of your feet, allowing it to travel to the heart. Hold it there for the count of 4, and release it through the crown. Now take another deep breath from the golden light above your crown. Allow it to flow into the heart, and hold it there again for a count of 4, releasing it through the soles of the feet. As you relax into this time of silence, allow peace to fill your whole being.
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
There is only love. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Donna Sue. And we are so glad to have you back. You are a blessing to us. Today marks the beginning of a very special time of the year in the Christian calendar. It is the first week of Advent. The word Advent comes from the Latin root adventus. Sounds like adventure, right? That's basically what it is. It's a coming of sorts. Traditionally, Advent is the 4 weeks of expectation and preparation for the birth of the baby Jesus, which we celebrate as Christmas. Christmas was first started to celebrate Advent in the 5th century. During Advent, we focus on one attribute of our spiritual nature each week, and we call it forth into our consciousness. The 4 weeks are the 4 attributes. Advent is week 1, faith and hope. Week 2, peace. Week 3, love. And week 4, joy. Because we have so many new people coming in and out of our center, I thought it would be a good idea to lay down the fundamental concept of the Advent season from the Unity perspective. So what is it that makes it different from the traditional? Well, essentially is how we fundamentally see the Christian story and the Bible and the Hebrew Bible in the first place, the Judeo-Christian model. John 4:24 tells us that for God is spirit, and those who worship God must worship God in spirit and in truth. That being so, then logically speaking, the Bible is a spiritual book. And I would say, and we do in Unity, that it should be interpreted fundamentally from a spiritual perspective and not so much from a literal perspective. Seeing the Bible in this way represents a view of a much larger picture. I keep saying that, larger picture. One in which the stories and the characters represent the different stages of conscious unfolding in our infinite spiritual journey. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If the Bible is literal, then it is a story of some people. But if it is seen as allegory from a higher spiritual perspective, then it becomes a story about all people. That's very different. That makes a whole lot more sense. And in the case of the Advent season, that means that we are reaching that point, or have reached that point, in which we are beginning the process, the preparing for the coming, for the awakening, not so much of baby Jesus, though that's good and well too, but the awakening of our Christ consciousness within. We're beginning that process. And so from this perspective, Christmas is not so much about the baby Jesus, but though it is, but it is about us individually, each one of us, from a spiritual concept that we are beginning to see life through the lens of a spiritual being instead of a human being. When I first heard this, I thought, wow, why does this make so much sense to me? And of course, it is because it represents a larger picture. And I'm always talking about the larger picture. I've always felt the traditional approach would just seem too small for me. I just couldn't make it work. It needed so much more, inclusivity for one, and a lot of other things. And so this view of Advent makes not only the Christian model, but all spiritual books about everyone. It's all about everyone. So I want you to remember that the stories were passed down orally. So some of them may have taken place, some of them part have taken place, some of them may have been changed, and just to make a story about what they were trying to say. But the point is the larger story within the overall idea. And I believe all religions, and you probably do too, are probably saying, we are all talking about the same thing. God doesn't have chosen people. And the sooner we realize these kind of things, then the sooner we're going to come together as a global community, which we need to do. I want to ask you something. I mean, many of you probably have more than one child. And do you have a favorite? I don't. And if you did have a favorite, what would that say about you, actually? And what would it say about God if God had favorites? These things make no sense. So anyway, let's move into this first attribute, hope and love. Let's begin by defining what faith is. The answer to this question may depend on whether how religious, spiritual you are or not. The definition from the dictionary addresses both, and here's what it says. The first one is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. That would be faith pertaining to this world, and no one really disagrees with that. We use it all the time. I have faith in you. You can do it. Definition number 2 is a strong belief in God or in the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual apprehension rather than proof. This second one is not so readily agreed upon by all. The part that said rather than proof is what critics of religion use to downplay the value of religion. And when I was growing up, maybe you did too, that was probably my criticism, because that's what eventually led me to Unity. And it was a strange place to be. because somehow I knew something was going on, but what I was being told just didn't make sense. I didn't know what to do with it. Anyway, as I told you before, the answer was always, you have to have faith. And I was like, I'm the curious guy, I'm the philosophy guy. And I said, but how can I have faith in something that I just sounded to me and feels like logically inconsistent? It doesn't make sense to me. And like the idea that God had favorites, or that the idea that this one short temporary life has the consequence of eternity. I said, wow, that's kind of a strange trade-off there. And I have a saying, I have several sayings. My saying is that the consequence of a temporary life in a temporary world can only be temporary. That's what I think, but anyway. And that was just two of the many, many questions that I had growing up. Blind faith, not the band. I like the band. But blind faith was not something I could really just, hang my hat on. But I needed to find answers. I always did. And so I kept searching. My search continued and probably will never stop. And I'm guessing you're the same way. Because if the journey were to end, that would mean I reached the end. Is there such a thing? I don't know. We live in an infinite universe, it seems. And so it seems that if we live in an infinite universe, then there must be a part of us that is infinite. It just makes sense. I have another saying. I'm a child of the universe, of an infinite universe. How can I not be that which it is? How is it possible? Is it not? We are created in the image and likeness of God. Change that word. In the image and likeness of the infinite universe. Wow. So all the spiritual masters have told us this all along. This is knowledge that has been known, but we don't have access to it because we don't have the degree of realization that is required for it. Not that we don't have it. We have not reached that unfoldingness of it. And like they say, your God is as big as your consciousness is. Just as big. So Advent represents that beginning of the process. When I took the 12 Powers of Man through my ministry study, I learned something about faith. And it says that there are different kinds of faith. There's 3 phases of faith that we go through. And the first is not actually faith. It says it is hope. From the Bible we read that now faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. Yes, and yet hope does not mean expectation in this sense. And you'll see that little thing in the book right there, and I want to share it to you in a minute. It has to do more with potentiality. Potentiality is an interesting subject because we have talked about it before. So on page 20 of that book, it says, the birth of Jesus represents awakening to the power within to create our own holiday. Hope is a vision of possibilities unencumbered by past or even current circumstances, becomes a seed planted in the heart. The second phase is blind faith that Charles Fillmore talked about in our Revealing Word. And if you know, the Revealing Word is a little pocket thing of metaphysical interpretations. And in blind faith, it says, an intuitive trust in a power higher than ourselves. Because blind faith does not understand the principles of being, it is liable to discouragement and disappointment. And to me, that means blind faith is just that, subject to error. And it's, like I said, I was never much for blind faith when I was young. And at this point, I can kind of say that I've moved on from that. So there's a quote, and it says, believe nothing of what you hear and only half of what you see. And if you are in the Let's Get Metaphysical class on Wednesday morning, then you're kind of getting this because we talk about some things like, oh boy. And that moves us into a third phase, it's hard to say, phase of faith. And it is understanding faith. Once again, the Revealing Word says, a faith that functions from principle. It is based on knowledge of truth. It understands the law of mind action. Therefore, it has great strength. You're all familiar with mind action. Mind action is thoughts held in mind produce after their kinds, right? So in the human analogy, we go through different stages with our unfolding of faith. Once again, the scripture says, when I was a child, I thought like a child. Now that I've left my childish ways behind. So you can see that we are unfolding spiritually, and as we do, we discern the world around us and life itself very differently. Now, to these three phases of faith, I want to add another one that is not in unity so much, but it's something that I feel. And for me, the natural progression from hoping to believing is to knowing. I like to put it this way. Nowhere in the Bible or anywhere else does it say God believes all things. It says God knows all things. And I've heard somewhere along the way that we're entering a new level of consciousness, universal consciousness, in which we know. So we're moving beyond that. I like knowing. I just do. Plato said that all knowledge is recollection, which means that we intuitively know these things. And if we are truly children of God, then why would we not know these things? Or at least have it within us the potential to know these things. So always back to that potential thing. It's really up to you. Where are you at? Where is your consciousness at? And using a lot of quotes from the Bible today, because the Bible really does talk about the bigger picture. But once again, we didn't have the consciousness to hear it in that way. And it says it there clearly. For those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. Now, of course, that's not a literal thing. Everybody has eyes and ears. That's not the point here. The point is, what do you hear? Where is your consciousness? And for me, that feeling of that faith has always been there. But it's coming around to a new realization. The bigger picture is coming into place. In summary, Advent symbolically, spiritually, represents that point of beginning that transition from believing to knowing. That's how I feel about it. The time will come when we no longer have faith in the truth. We have knowledge of the truth. The truth shall set you free. It's a bigger picture. I want to finish with a quote by Joan Borensenko, a psychologist, about that book that I have. It's called Inner Peace for Busy People. Maybe I'll talk about that sometime. 52 simple strategies for transforming your life, it says. And guess what the 52nd one is? Keep the faith. Yeah. But there's a line in there that really caught my attention because it truly represents how I feel about faith. What made me finally say, okay, I got that. That faith makes sense to me. And it says this: in the end, faith is less about a set of beliefs than your willingness to surrender to a mysterious force of love and guidance that helps you find your way. Now that's a big picture. I want to read it again. In the end, faith is less about a set of beliefs than your willingness to surrender to a mysterious force of love and guidance that helps you find your way. Wow. So now I invite you just for a moment to close your eyes and contemplate the message of today of faith and hope. We begin, as always, with a few centering breaths. We turn our attention inwardly as we consider the idea of hope and faith. We are ever grateful for this time together as a spiritual community. We are grateful for this time in which we share and create a place of absolute peace and love through the practices we engage in this morning. We are mindful that the process of being human is one of unfolding and expanding that takes place every moment of every day. During this time of Advent, we are reminded that along our spiritual journey, we come to stages of consciousness in which we move into a different level of understanding. Advent marks such a launching pad. It symbolizes the coming, the adventus of a new and higher reality for us. A reality that opens us up to a greater wisdom. A reality unity refers to as the Christ consciousness. It is my belief that we in Unity are in that point where we are beginning to see that there is a much larger picture. And as we work our way through this hope and through the process of a blind faith and through our understanding faith, on into the beginning of knowing who we truly are, as we are told in Psalms 82:6, Gods and children of the Most High. And as we say, spiritual beings having a human experience. And so it is at the time of Advent, and we continue next week. Let me get my little booklet. Now times, are we going to have special music today? No? Okay. Okay, next week we will. See, because technically, a Christmas song. Because technically it's not really Christmas season. It's Advent. Christmas season doesn't really start until after Christmas. I mean, Christmas is like the first day, and it goes that way up until January the 6th. But anyway, I thought, but we will next week. We'll do something just to kind of get us start to get us into that spirit. So in the meantime, this is the time where we offer our love offerings and tithes to our spiritual community, and it's to support this work that we're doing here together. And so together, we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I trust God.
Everything I see, everything I do is blessed by your hand, God. I'll give it back to you. Everything I give, every thought that's true, is magnified in kind, God. I'll give it back to you. Send forth your energy to our offerings. Together we say, we bless and dedicate these tithes and offerings as an expression of divine love, and we release them to manifest that love in our community and in our world. Thank you. So now comes the time when we bless our children, welcome them back, and they get the chance to tell us a little about what they did. You ready, Olivia? All righty. Oops. Don't kick it.
All right, Liz. Very good. So let's bless our children now. We say, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Final announcement is that Donna Sue is our chaplain for today, our prayer chaplain. If any of you would like to need a prayer today, she's available for you as well. So let's rise and end with our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be our joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the light of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. Pick up your booklets. They're for free.